Coming up on our grand tour of construction calamities, parking in Baltimore becomes a slow-motion catastrophe.
I can remember just seeing the vehicles go down, and they sink in.
A narrow escape for the most famous building error in the book.
The tower began to sway slightly out of control.
And a Manhattan skyscraper with a deadly design flaw.
There could be up to 200,000 fatalities.
With big builds, even the smallest mistake can be a huge disaster. From miscalculations to misunderstandings, these are the engineering catastrophes that only an expert can hope to fix. When engineering goes wrong, news crews usually arrive after the dust has settled. But when the calamity is caught on camera, we get a unique window into what went wrong. Just like our first catastrophe in Maryland. Here in Baltimore, life on the street got very dangerous in 2014. The neighborhood had been sitting on a ticking time bomb.
When it was ready to go, boom, it just went.
And it hit like a mortar round. Boom!
Baltimore. This grisly old harbor town is nearly 300 years old. Almost a third of its buildings are registered as historic, more than in any other U.S. city.
Baltimore is one of the older cities in the U.S., and there are a lot of structures that were put there at least 100 years ago. And of course, time takes its toll.
This aged Atlantic seaport is always in need of some TLC.
The maintenance of any large city is a massive undertaking.
As the Charles Village community discovered, dramatically, one rainy April day in 2014, residents of East 26th Street noticed that years-old cracks in the road were growing rapidly. Community leader Matt Brady witnessed the event firsthand.
I remember it was raining so hard, this crack right here, literally opening up, like peeling an orange.
Next to the railway, beneath the road, was a retaining wall, and it's worth mentioning that this wall is 100 years old.
The old retaining wall supporting 26th Street above the train tracks was beginning to give way.
One of my supervisors in the field came in named Howard. He said, hey, Matt, the street up there on 26th Street is about to give way. I said, what are you talking about? He said, the street. The rain's coming down is causing the street to separate.
By midday, the cracks in East 26th Street were growing wider.
I remember running over here. It was amazing. And literally, you could stand right here and see this wall leaning. To be quite honest, I was afraid that if a train came through, somebody would die. I began to tell all the guys, say, hey, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to take one of the trucks, block this street right here. Make sure no traffic goes down because that'll make it worse.
3 hours later, local residents looked on in shock.
Margaret Brent Elementary School is about to let out. And I said, man, we really got to make sure those kids don't get out. So we sent one of our guys over there to talk to the administrator. Said, look, don't let the kids out. It's a major emergency. The next thing was to secure the area and to make sure these residents were out of their houses. Now, to stand right here, I will never forget, to see these cars leaning literally at a 90, almost like it's like a 90-degree angle. And to hear the street crackling like bread, I mean, you can stand here and just listen to the street tear.
When the road starts cracking like that, and you've got this 100-year-old retaining wall, inevitably, it's not going to go well.
A passerby with a camera pushed record just in time.
And I can remember just seeing the vehicles go down, and they sink in, and then like in a matter of moments, we watched that whole side of the street explode. And it hit like a mortar round. Like, boom!
The collapse was an urban landslide.
When landslides happen, they can be really sudden and dramatic. People in nearby houses thought a train had derailed just by the sound of this. And it brought, 8 cars with it. These things were totaled, just crashing down onto the tracks below.
Amazingly, no one was killed.
You never ever would imagine a million years to witness something like that and to see the pain on so many people's faces, to see people crying. After it collapsed, there was like a deafening silence.
As the dust settled, witnesses wondered what had caused this cataclysmic collapse. The seeds of the disaster were planted more than 100 years ago, when a new railroad was built. This Baltimore neighborhood was at the top of a slope, leading down to the tracks. In 1914, engineers built a 35-foot-high retaining wall to support the road above the railway. It was a massive undertaking. And right from the start, it was subjected to Baltimore's extreme climate and soft geology.
Baltimore is built on clay soil and gets very cold, harsh winters, but also heavy rains. And all of those things combined causes a lot of ground movement.
Baltimore's temperatures fluctuate between scorching summers and freezing winters. As the earth freezes, it expands, then contracts when it thaws.
It's those things that brought the retaining wall to breaking point.
April of 2014 was one of the wettest on record, and by the 30th, the already unstable ground was dangerously waterlogged.
There's no doubt that the heavy rainfall prior to this disaster played a huge role in breaking down the wall.
While the wall did stand up to brutal conditions for a century, in the end, this was a massive fail. The city had a disaster on its hands, with a road destroyed, a railway line buried, and residents forced out of their homes. An engineering rescue was desperately needed, and fast. Baltimore, Maryland. East 26th Street had just collapsed, burying a railroad and leaving homes uninhabitable. A rapid engineering response was needed. Jim Winther was the project manager in charge of the repair mission.
About 1:30 in the morning after the incident, and we had everyone evacuated and we had all the utilities turned off. It was probably still raining, and at that point we understood that we had to break this problem into 4 distinct parts. The emergency response, which was make it safe for the community. While that was going on, we then had to come up with a solution that would allow us to do a temporary fix that allow the residents to get back into place and allow us to then work towards the final solution, which was excavating the material to allow for that construction.
Once Jim's team had cleared the site, they got to work on a new retaining wall to support the road above. To create rock-solid foundations in the soft ground, engineers installed 65 reinforced concrete columns. To improve drainage, they added a layer of sand and gravel. But this wasn't just a physical fix. The rules were changed to ensure this wouldn't happen anywhere else in Baltimore.
If there's a silver lining to this, it's that now there is one department who is responsible for monitoring ground movement and looking at its impact on structures in Baltimore.
With constant high-tech monitoring, city officials can now spot problems developing below ground before they turn into a major disaster.
I think if there's a lesson to be learned here, it's that when you see warning signs like giant cracks in the road or land shifting, it's only a matter of time before something catastrophic happens.
For our next calamity, we head to Italy,